Hello there, my name's Anne-Marie Wickham and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, I'm a life coach and I'm an energy healer, and I'm also a self-love alchemist, which means that I really help people to get in connection with their inner self, the person who they really are inside, without all the BS, all the stuff that life lumps on top of us. The reason why I'm speaking to you today is because you've probably been trying to do things for yourself for a long time to get yourself out of certain situations, and you're kind of feeling like you're repeating the same story over and over again. And that's exactly how I felt for a very long time. In fact, more years than I care to remember. I felt like I was surviving instead of feeling like I should be thriving, and I felt just everything was a constant battle, and that, you know, I would get to the point of achieving something and then something else seemed to go wrong. So there was never a time when I was in full harmony in every area of my life. And I don't know about you, but the two areas that I always seemed to be in opposition with, I was either really good with one but not with the other, was love and money. And I think that's the same for a lot of us. There were times when I was extremely abundant and extremely wealthy, and yet it seemed that the story that I was telling myself was if I had money, then I couldn't be in love, because it seemed at the time that every time I was in a relationship, the money seemed to go. And I don't know if that resonates with any of you, but that was a constant recurring theme in my life. And so I started on a journey. It's just a journey of, you know, self-discovery and seeing if I could get to a point of where I was constantly happy, but that everything balanced out just as it should. And that really took me on this self-exploration journey, because what I found is that you can actually have it all. And I know there's lots of people that say, well, you know, how? Because that hasn't been my experience so far. Well, that wasn't my experience for a long time. And to be honest, I became quite overwhelmed, really, at the thought of just struggling to balance all of these spinning plates, and I wanted it all, and then I started to feel selfish that I wanted it all, and I'd feel guilty, and I'd feel guilty about my children, I'd feel guilty about that I wasn't a stay-at-home mum, and that I wanted more for my life, that I felt there was a purpose in my life but I didn't know what it was, and I was just going around and around on this carousel of feeling great, not feeling great, feeling guilty, feeling ashamed, feeling fearful, feeling scared, wanting to do this but not wanting to do this. And I don't know if this rings any bells with you, but I just couldn't see a pathway, a clear pathway. And to be honest, there isn't any real clear pathway until you actually know who you are. And that is the starting point for your journey. You know, and so when I realised that the only way that I was going to be able to have what I wanted was to actually know who I was and what I actually stood for. And then that started my journey. And this might seem familiar to you as well. Are you just hopping from, you know, one program to another program to an abundance program? We're doing it with Deepak. We're doing it with Oprah. We're listening to Lisa Nichols. We're going, yes, for Tony Robbins. And we're doing all of these different programs to try and find some connection with ourselves, that we are just understanding what they're saying, but as soon as we're turning the microphone off or the program off, that we're back to this point of feeling so empty and alone and on this path alone. And that's how I felt. You know, I just felt like I was doing this all by myself. But at the same time, you know, there comes a point when that journey has to be made by yourself, because you are the only one that knows exactly what you want. And so for a couple of years now, I've been creating programs which have been helping people at their part of their journey, which I'd already done. And that's the way that all gurus do it. They find a pathway through the murky experiences that aren't serving them, and they find the key and they go, yeah, oh my God, that just makes so much sense. I'm going to create this program to show others how to get to this part. And then they've got to that part, they've obviously had their own coaches, and they get to another level, and then they bring out another program which is taking you to the next level. So basically, in essence, what it is you are just following their life journey of how they've learned to do it, and they're going to teach you, which makes absolute sense, right? You know, if you want to be successful, you follow somebody that's successful. If you want to be happy, you're going to follow somebody that's happy, that's got it right, except for they're not you. and their pathway to success is about the way that they did it. And so you really do have to find somebody, some guru that is congruent with the way that you live your life. Are you a multi-million pound life coach like Tony Robbins because he knows what to do for himself? Are you a powerful speaker, motivational speaker like Lisa Nichols because she knows how to do it for herself? Are you a really loving, giving, open, warm Oprah because she knows how to do it for herself? Or are you a combination of all of these? Or do you actually realize you are unique? You are totally special, and it doesn't matter how many combinations of other people that you look at. Ultimately, it all resides in you, and you have to bring it back to you because that is where the journey starts. And so in my journey, having done all of those same things that those other gurus did, because that is the journey to take, I had all of these different programs that I was putting different people on. But you know what I realized? All of those programs needed to be experienced. It wasn't one, you couldn't go in at this point or this point. You actually need to make the whole journey. And for those of you who have been program hopping, book hopping, lifestyle hopping, and thinking I'm not getting anywhere, but actually I feel more exposed and open and hurt and wounded than I ever have felt before, I'm just going to give up and go back to what I know. Please stop. This is the point where it really is the time for you to start your journey. This is the point where you actually just let go of all of that stuff that you was holding on to, of all the dreams that you thought you could have, should have, would have been as that person that didn't really know themselves. And this is the point where you wipe the slate clean. This is 0 point. And from here, everything that you ever desired can actually be achieved. But you have to get to that point of saying, I've had enough. I'm letting go. I can't do another 10 steps to abundance, 5 steps to happiness, 3 steps to elevation, 4 steps to spirituality. You've had enough, right? I had enough. I got sick of listening to them all. And I just thought, you don't know me. You don't know my life. Deep breath. And at that point, I knew I was really, really ready. And so for the last 2 years, I've been working with my clients to work on specific programs that are just based around them. And I did this because I wanted to watch and evaluate how each of those came to their own journey and take the basic principles, the basic aspects of what they were doing that was working for them, so that I could create a program which was totally specialised and personalised to the unique person that I was working with. But here's what the difference is from all the other gurus that you've listened to. And I know this to be true because I've done it all, same as you. The difference is I know that when I made those journeys, I spent a lot of time hurting and I spent a lot of time of being alone. And there was plenty of times that I wanted to give up. But the most definitive thing for me and the most painful thing for me, I didn't have anybody to talk to. My friends were sick of hearing about my spirituality and my awakening and my awareness. And furthermore, they weren't interested because they weren't on that journey themselves. And I did start gravitating towards people that were on the same journey, and I learnt from them as well. And so really, for the last 2 years, I've just been observing, evaluating and collating all of this information so that I can put it into a format which absolutely is bespoke to the person I'm working with. But more importantly, I decided that I wanted to actually, because you know what? I'm not any better or different to you. The only thing that I've done differently maybe is that I have actually dedicated my life to this journey because I want to be that happy person. I am that happy person. And that's because I dedicated the last 2 years of my life to looking at how do people become happy? How do people go from fear to love? Which is one of my programs, right? Flow, fear to love. How do people do that? I'm going to observe them. I'm going to put them on the program. I'm going to see what works and I'm going to see what doesn't work. And then at the end of it, I'm going to have the perfect combination that will be totally bespoke. And so that's what I've done. And it's 3 steps. And I know, here we go again. We're not back to the 3 steps, the 10 steps, the 59 steps to heaven. Yeah, I know, but there has to be a process, right? There has to be a pathway to success in any any goal that you're going to achieve, you have to have a guidebook. You have to have a sat-nav. Makes sense, right? And that has to come from previous experience. And so my 3 steps, they're so simple, they probably feel a bit naff because they are so simple. But the simplicity of what I do is what actually gets the results, because it is so adaptable and flexible to you. And these 3 steps are: number 1, self-love. You cannot project yourself out in the world as somebody who can give to others, that can be for others what you want to be, if you can't give that to yourself. And that is perhaps the hardest part of the journey. It certainly was the hardest part of the journey for me. The self-love of absolutely accepting all that you are, every part of you, every foible, every bump, every lump, every spot, every shortened or lengthened, every fat or thin, every big bum, wide bum, whatever bum, all of that, just loving all of that every morning, waking up with such gratitude and joy to be you, and realising that you are a gift to yourself, is the most massive part of the journey. And so it comes first. And step 2 is, once you have that deep, deep, forgiving, all-encompassing, genuine, and without conditional love, yeah? Once you've got that within yourself, then how are you going to relate that to the rest of the world? And that comes from understanding now, what are my morals? What are my beliefs? What are my deal breakers? That's what I teach my children at this age. What are my deal breakers? And all of these things show you and empower you to be able to stand up in the world as yourself and say, this is who I am, and this is unconditional, and this is me, unapologetic. This is who I am. And you know what? Take me or leave you, because it doesn't matter. Because I love me, I'm here for me in my corner. I am my best friend, and I will always be there for me. I will never, ever let me down. And when you've got that kind of a surety behind you, you know, if you've got it from a mother, brother, sister, lover, if you've got it from somebody, you're like $1 million, right? And then they leave you and you go, oh, I'm crushed, I'm nobody, I'm nothing. Yeah, we've all done that. But imagine if that person never ever left you. Imagine if that person was in your corner 24/7, being your cheerleader. Go Annie, go Annie, go Annie. Imagine, come on, you can do this. And imagine if that negative voice, that the inner critic, I call them, on this shoulder was totally pushed out of the ballpark. They didn't even have a look in. Yeah? That default program that you had that constantly has kept you stuck is gone. Can you believe that can really happen? Because it really can. Deep breath. So, the first tools that I give you are to really know how to self-love yourself in any aspect, and even when challenges come up, not just for the good things, but with the bad things. The second thing that comes up, in fact, you stop seeing things as bad and you start seeing things as an opportunity. Secondly, is how you're going to relate that to the rest of the world, how you're going to present yourself to the world. Because you know what? The way that you present yourself to the world is the way the world comes back to you. You set the template and the precedent for how you want to be treated. And that starts with the world seeing how you want to treat yourself. Simple, right? Except most of us don't do it. Except most of us will study our jobs, our car, our dishwasher, more than what we will ever study ourselves. Let's change that. Let's know ourselves as well as we know how to work the washing machine or even the television. Let's know ourselves enough to know that when something breaks down, exactly where we need to recalibrate it. What parts need to be replaced or rechanged or reprogrammed. Okay? Deep breath. Woo. And then the third part is how, from that place of utter inner strength and love, self-love, and everybody around you is wonderful and beautiful because that's what you're projecting out into the world. How then am I going to create the future that I now, for the person that I now am? You can't create that future right now because you're not that person. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and this is the thing, when you know how to do this, when you know how to think and be abundant all the time, everything around you changes. And every opportunity that comes to you is for you and grows you because you know it is. Honestly, you are totally transformed. You will not recognize yourself. You will not recognize yourself. You'll recognize yourself in other people, but you won't recognize yourself anymore. You'll be a whole new, changed, transformed, upgraded, replenished, refreshed, renewed, reset you. How does that sound? Doesn't that sound awesome? Doesn't that sound like somebody you'd want in your corner? Okay, so there's the 3 actions that we take, the 3 parts of the program, which used to be 3 separate programs for me, but now I put them all in one. And I do that. How do I do that? I do that over 10 sessions. I use mixed modalities. I use hypnotherapy. I use NLP life coaching. I use energy healing. I use EFT tapping. I use anything that is what you need, because some people need to hear it. Some people need to feel it. Some people need to speak it. And some people need to see it. Everybody's different. So I meet you where you are at. The way that works for you, the way that connects with you, the way that moves you, the way that empowers you. That's how I work with you. And I work with you over 10 sessions, but here is the difference from any other program that you've ever been on, any other life success journey that you've ever been on. I am done with trying to do everybody. I'm done. I'm done with trying to do everybody. There is only a unique kind of person that can work with me and that I can work with. And I know exactly who they are because I'm already working with them. And here's the key. I'm only working next year with 20 people, 10 people in the first 6 months and 10 people in the second 6 months. And I already have 4 of those people. Who are they? Who is this unique person that I'm looking for? This unique person is very, very creative. This unique person is somebody that strives to be the best. This unique person is sometimes a little bit overcritical of themselves. This is a person who has saboteurs that push them to be a perfectionist, but sometimes that's overreaching and they don't accept all that they are. This person is so brave. This person, even though this is going to be so challenging and it's going to help, it's going to really ask them to dig so deep and uncover things, go so deep, uncover experiences and events that they probably have repressed for so long. It's probably the reason which pushes them to be such a successful person. Those things that are deeply repressed. It's those things that have driven them. But instead of addressing them and embracing them and saying, thank you for creating who I am, what they've done is repressed them and driven themselves harder. So they can't get any peace. They can't get to the point of where they feel, and they just don't get that. They keep going. And you know what? That's amazing. That makes you totally awesome. That's why the clients that I work with, I do think, wow, you impress me so much. And you know what? They inspire me every day. They inspire me to be. And I watched those clients over the last 2 years and I was in awe of them. I was like, wow, how did you get from there to there? And I documented and I tweaked and I looked and I asked and I cried. And I respected them. And I brought this program together. This program is for those people that want to take that to the next level. Or maybe you recognize yourself in some of the things that I've said, the things that you're not doing for yourself, how you're not supporting yourself, how you're not being kind to yourself, how you're, angry with yourself, how there's still things that you're ashamed of that you're just repressing and you're just thinking, well, you know what? It doesn't matter if I don't address those things because I'm successful. It doesn't matter if I don't have the love of my life because I've got money. I know you because you are me. That's who I was. That is who I was. And that's why I went on this 2-year long observation and evaluation journey, because I wanted to heal myself in a way that I know would bring me out the other side and that I wouldn't have that default program anymore. It's gone. It's gone. And in that journey, watching my clients last year and seeing that exactly the same happened for them, I knew it was time that I was going to devote myself to those 20 people. And what is even more beautiful about this particular program, it's called Be the Real You. You know where that came from? One of my clients. I put it out there and I said, what is this program called? Have a look at it and tell me what is it called. And we had Be Abundantly You. We had there were so many different ones that came back, but the one that struck me was because this person, she has fought so hard to be the real you, and I thought it's totally right. And there was another quote that she gave, but it doesn't quite come to mind yet, but she gave me another she's given me some, all of my clients have given me so much. They've made me the woman I am today, and I've made them the women that they are today. And it's not just been women. I've had a few men, I've worked with a few men, and they've all been amazing, but they've all had these common ingredients of being go-getters, of wanting more, of exceeding their own expectations and certainly exceeding mine, of being brave enough to dig deep, of being brave enough to accept that there was parts of themselves that they weren't accepting and that they were hiding and that they were digging deeper and deeper, but to bring them all out. And yeah, there were tears. But they were tears of joy, because you know what? They can never go back to being that person that they were before. And that is, well, that's just amazing. So in this video right now at the bottom, you're probably going to see a book now, okay? And on the book now, that's for you to come on a webinar where I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you some of these ways of being, some of the ways of being that I've watched my clients go through that have really worked for them. And they're all different. They all come from different backgrounds. Some are married, some are not. It's not just one type of person, but they all have the same values: integrity, honesty, bravery, success, leadership, fun. Just thinking of some of the qualities that I remember that they came with. Integrity was a high one. Honesty was a high one. And authenticity as well. So there's going to be a link. Just click the link below and it's going to take you straight to a webinar, and you're going to learn some things about yourself that even now you can put into place, that you can start seeing instant changes for yourself. And that if you keep doing them, you'll notice that it won't just be an awareness, but it will be a behavior change. You'll become that new person. That's part of what I do. And if you like what you've heard, then you can go on to the next step and you can speak to me personally. And I can't wait to speak to you. Once those 10 places are gone, though, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be flexible on this. I'm only going to work with those 10 people because I want to be there for you. I want to be on the email. I want to be on the WhatsApp. I want to be on a call. I want to share your successes. I want to help you through the times when it's going to be challenging. I'm there. 10 people only. And that's who I'm devoting the next 6 months to. Awesome, right? And I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to it. These people are going to become friends. There's no doubt about it. They will become friends. And the next 10, and then the following year, this course is going to be online. And it will be just as powerful, but it just won't be the same as this year, will it? You know, the first time, well, this is actually the second time because I've already done it in the last couple of years. But I just can't wait to share this journey with you. This journey is going to create amazing, magnificent trailblazers, change makers, and I want that to be you. I really hope that we are a fit. If any of this has resonated with you, if you're feeling this, if you're feeling my energy, because I am an energy woman, and that's how I work too. If you're feeling this and you're feeling like, this is my time. I met 2 ladies last night. Let me just tell you quickly, these 2 ladies I met last night, one of them was 57, beautiful woman. She runs nurseries all her life. We had a lot in common. I used to be a nursery manager, and we were talking about, she asked me if I could come over and do some work with her practitioners to show them self-love, because we both agreed that most people in the caring industries, they gravitate towards looking after others. You know why? Because it's avoiding doing the work they need to do on themselves. She absolutely agreed. She said to me, Anne-Marie, I've been doing it for 37 years and I'm actually looking at a change. And I said, amazing, fantastic. What are you going to do? She said, I have no clue. And you know why she had no clue, don't you? Because that's who she was. She was the nursery manager. She did not have a you behind that. She didn't know who the real you was because it was so intrinsically tied up with being a nursery manager. Is that you? Are you defining yourself by your role? Have you become so immersed in it that it becomes how you evaluate yourself, how you give your, you know, how you place yourself as a person, of how you've achieved by, I'm this, I'm a global manager. But take away that title of global manager. Who are you? Who are you? What do you stand for? What would you take a bullet for? Extreme, I know, but there are always some things that you will take a bullet for. And that's the thing that you need to be doing for your life. You need to find out what it is, what you would go to the ends of the earth for, and become that person in your job, in your relationships, in you, the real you. That's what I want for you to be, the real you. So click on the link below, meet me in the webinar, let me show you some of those tools I was talking about, let me get you to the next step of feeling empowered enough to say, right, I want to have a conversation with Anne-Marie. Let's just take this a little bit at a time, because I know some of these things, even though they're resonating, they're going to feel like, whoa! But that's your inner self saying, that's your higher self saying, wow, we've never heard this before. We've been waiting for this conversation for so long. And I've been waiting to meet you for so long. That's the reason why I'm here. So we're going to find out the reason why you're here too. That's me. Press the button below and I'll see you on the webinar.